starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for clicking on our thumbnail today. We are here to discuss Ironheart episodes 1 through 3. So, my name is Cedar Superior, and I am not here alone. I'm here with my co host, Great Grand Slam Poobah, aka Bad Guy Jack. How's it going?
Very well. I want to give you props because one, that intro was I didn't know what was going on. I was on the back doing like this, and also two, I remember one episode before we started, you was mentioning like bad guy Jack is really easy to say, but you got it. You said it, the great grand slam poop. I'm thinking of another adjective or word to add to this to expand it even further. I wanted to get to the point where the name is like completely over the
Oh,
screen.
God. I'm trying my best. I'm out here trying my best, like our girl Riri trying her best. But speaking of Riri, again, we're talking about Ironheart episode 1 through 3. And pretty much the series is we follow Riri Williams following the events of Wakanda Forever. She gets removed from MIT for some scandalous, so not scandalous, but some stuff that she was doing that she wasn't supposed to be doing. Heads back to Chicago, still's low on funds, and had to do some, under the table work, we might say, in order to raise said funds. So we learned a little bit more about her and a
Under
little
the
bit more
table.
about some characters. But let's get right into it. Initial thoughts, Bad Guy Jack. What did you think?
The first three episodes, I mean, it's still so real quick, my thoughts, right? Um, I really, and I was saying this before we got on there. I really hate that they put all these episodes out like this, and because a lot of times when we do a show and we're reviewing it, I'm able to because I when I go to work I travel, so I can
Mhm.
watch it back twice, and I can give you a really great feedback on it because I got to watch it twice. I only watched these episodes once, so I don't really have a strong definitive answer. But I am interested in this world that they are creating with Riri and all the other characters along the way. Matter of fact, one of the guys who stood out, I thought he was pretty good. And once again, I want everyone to know I've watched this only once. Um, Maybe my mind be different if I watch it back a second time. But the guy in the cloak, I believe his name was Hunter. I thought he was
No, his name is
mhm,
Parker. Parker.
Parker. Oh, Parker. I should
Mhm.
remember that one. Parker. Um, I remember him from a show on Netflix. It was She Gotta Have It, and to see him on here, I was like, "Hey, I remember when you were that nerd character." But I thought he was a standout. Beside Riri's friend, I know we'll talk a little bit more in depth, but initial thoughts. I'm just interested in seeing where things go
Okay.
moving forward.
All right. Initial thoughts for me was that one, it come on too late. Too late to be dropping 3 episodes, 9 o'clock at night on the East Coast, and you want me to watch 3 episodes. That's a goddamn movie. That's longer than a movie at that point.
It is. No, you're not lying.
So my only gripe is the same as it has been with Disney Plus series for the past few seasons of television shows now is they started too late on the East Coast. Show the East Coast some love. I know it's like 6 o'clock on the West Coast, but we out here struggling trying to watch these shows. Okay, but as far as the actual show is concerned, I thought it was entertaining. Like I was entertained. Regardless of the late hour, I was able to get it done, wash it through.
Hmm.
I do feel like it has kind of a younger vibe. It's not like our um WandaVisions or our Captain America, um, what's his name? Bucky, one that I
Winter
didn't
Soldier.
like,
Oh, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This one's given more like, Miss Marvel a little bit. It's that age group, is for the youngins, in my
Okay.
opinion. Um,
Okay, that's interesting.
yes, well, I think Riri is about the same age as Miss Marvel. She's still like what, 15 or something like that? Or
Is she? I thought she was in. I thought it'd be a little bit older. No, I think like 18. I thought it was like
she's
17, 18.
she's still a younger teenager though, because
Right.
she graduated from high school when she was 13, and she
Okay.
started college relatively early. So she's been in MIT for at least a year, I would say, because she was at MIT when Wakanda Forever took place.
Right. 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 Right.
So I feel like she's roughly around that age. And
16.
maybe she
I can
did.
see that. 15, 16. I can see that. Okay, that makes about sense.
Um,
I guess I was thinking about because of the whole college thing, but that's a fair point that she went at a much earlier age.
yeah, she's gifted. We do see that she has been, um, doing some stuff that's against school code in order to raise money for her suit, right? She built all of the suit herself through her grant money. However, in order to get the AI together, she needed some additional funds. And I thought it was interesting that they did kind of make the comparison between her and Tony Stark, because they're both a genius, but Tony Stark is a genius with money, and that
Right.
makes a world of difference. So I like that aspect of the show. And yeah, I was just entertained the whole way through, honestly. These first three episodes were pretty good to me. But let's
Cool.
get into the dirty details as far as characters, reveals, and things we noticed throughout the episode, right? Or throughout the three episodes. So, just as a full disclosure, we will be going into spoilers. So, if you have not watched all three episodes, please leave us a like, click off, and then come back, because we're
Yeah.
discussing all three. Okay. All right.
All three.
So I know you mentioned our boy Parker, right? Our boy Parker, aka the Hood. Um,
The hood.
I was
Not the
curious,
red hood.
huh?
Not the red hood.
No, not the Red Hood. He wishes, right? He wishes.
Ah, ah. There
But
we go.
for me, right, I was thinking, not they got this little black girl and her main, antagonist is the Hood, like a character named the Hood. Like, what we trying to say here? Is she fighting the Hood? Come on now, they could have did better than that. And after like researching the character, apparently he's not really known. The character of the Hood is not really known to be a part of the Riri Williams comic books. He's more associated. He has his own comic. He's more associated with Ghost Rider than with Riri, per se. Um,
Okay,
so I thought it
that's
was
fair.
interesting that they picked this character to kind of go up against Riri. And I was like, not they got the Hood going up against this black girl. That was number one. I was like, I don't like it.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
But aside from that, I thought the performances were great. When
Yeah.
we do learn about Parker and his connection to this cape or this hood, right? It made me wonder, is this at all any way connected to Doctor Strange and his cape? Because
Hmm.
Doctor Strange has that sentient kind of mythical thing kind of cape, right? Um, so that's when I got into a rabbit. I was like, okay, well, let me research more into this character, look what's going on. So it is some sort of demonic entity or demonic spirit within this cape, or some sort of deal that the Hood made in order to get these powers via this cape. And in the comics, that has been the demonic spirits, or the person responsible for it has been Dormammu. Now we know Dormammu through Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Yep.
Yes. But there's been speculation online that
Let's
in
hear
this version, it could potentially be tied to um, what's his name? Uh, Mephisto?
it. I was just waiting to hear it because I feel like there's been so many Disney Plus shows, and I was waiting for the Mephisto reference. I was
Hmm.
just waiting. So as I was watching this, I immediately said, I wonder know who on Twitter or Instagram, whatever social media platform, and they're like, "That's him!
Yeah.
That's him! We finally got him!"
Now,
I don't think it's him. Well, go
well,
ahead. I'm sorry.
you don't think that Mephisto is the whispers that we hear via Parker whenever he's about to spaz out, that demonic
When
whispers
you
and stuff?
when you throw in and disclosure, like I'm not super familiar with the stuff about Ghost Rider and his rogue of villains and stuff like that, but when you're saying like this guy comes from that, I want to say Mephisto, and I've butchered his name like three times, but I believe that he's one of those villains that just mess with everyone, like how Juggernaut messes with everyone, Doctor Doom. So do I think that there's some kind of connection? I'm gonna say no because Disney has conditioned me to say no, and
Uh,
watch me be this time wrong. But I'm gonna stand on no.
See, okay, this was my thing, right? I know everyone's, drummed up about Mephisto. This could potentially be Mephisto, especially with the episode name drops that we got. I believe in
Mhm.
episode 4, it's called Karma, and the M is like highlighted in red and yada yada yada. But I wanted to possibly think of some alternatives. Like, so what if it wasn't Mephisto, right? And I thought potentially, what if it was Magneto in order to get like some sort of mutant introduction? But that
Mm.
didn't really fit for me because of the whole uh
Is it with the guns?
no, because of
Okay.
the power set. Magneto isn't really known for any sort of spiritual
Oh no, no,
kind of
no.
like thing like that. So I was like, okay, maybe that's not it. But then I was thinking, could it potentially be Mr. Sinister in a way? Because he's not super mythical magical. He does delve into like science, and because of this, tech kind of background we have with this series, maybe that could be it. It's probably Mephisto, but I was thinking, okay, alternatives. What could potentially,
And honestly, I do like the alternatives though, because I feel like once again for the last I don't know 3 4 years has been, and we keep saying this guy, and he never shows up. I want to say when we did WandaVision, we kept thinking Dan, the guy who looked like Dan Aykroyd was going to
oh
be.
yeah, oh, from even Agatha, I was like, that guy in the library. That's
I
that's
know,
Mephisto right there. That's him.
I remember you. Yep, yep, yep.
I'm
And
still I'm still standing strong on that. I feel like whenever we do get this,
and I love and I love that. You should stand strong on it. That's how you feel. Cool. Disney has beaten that out of me so much that I just don't think it is.
okay. So, do you have any thoughts on who you think would be if it's not Mephisto? What do you think?
I really don't because I just don't know like this rogue of villains right here, right? Like I know a little bit about Mr. Sinister because I watched X-Men '97. Who else did you? I mean, obviously, not Mephisto, the guy from Doctor Strange that you mentioned, but I don't think it's him. Uh,
Dormammu. Uh huh.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't think it's him. So I really don't have any nothing in the game here to sit here and say, oh, this is who I think it is.
Okay.
I'm more on the still wait and see where this goes kind of things because I'm not even familiar with this guy. You said Hood is his name. I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with him at all. So I'm interested to see how everything plays out.
Okay, okay. Well, speaking of potential, characters, who they are, what they might be, what they might do, we do
Mhm.
get a couple other characters in the series. I got a screenshot here.
Ooh.
Once Riri joins this band of brothers, I'll say this Robin Hood Men in Tight esque, group of vigilantes. Vigilantes.
Oh man, Kingpin would have threw him in a cell somewhere.
Facts, because they are indeed breaking the law. We have our top three. Of course, Riri, who they mentioned is the mechanic tech specialist. We have Parker, the leader. We have cousin John, aka the HR representative, aka the getaway driver. And we do have a couple other characters here. Slug, the hacker, Clown, the pyrotechnic specialist, and we have our two siblings, Ross and Jerry, who are the muscle. Now,
Mhm.
when it comes to cousin John, right? Cousin John, I wanted to ask because I believe it was in episode 2 that we saw a he has some sort of fascination with knives. He's very accurate with his knife throwing.
Mhm.
And we also see that Parker has some sort of weird accuracy, like almost like Hawkeye level of accuracy with his gunshots. And it made me think of the show, The Umbrella Academy. And Diego, he has this ability where he had this thing with knives, and he was able to be super accurate with his knife throwing because he had some sort of telekinetic abilities. So, do you
Right.
think it's possible that cousin John and potentially Parker have some sort of like mutant esque ability to some sort of telekinesis in order to be so accurate? Because it didn't seem, like a human
Natural.
ability could be that
Right.
accurate.
Like it wasn't natural. I get what you're saying. I see that more with Parker instead of John. I know we're going to talk about John later, so
Mhm.
we should put a Sky Boy. But I do think Parker though. There's something about him where and I think it has something to do with that cape. So yeah, I do think so. Some kind of mutant thing. I don't
Okay,
even know if it's mutant. Like when I think of mutants, I think of like the X-Men. I don't know if I
yeah.
think mutant. I think like some magic, and I don't know if that still counts as mutant, but like some kind of magic thing, some kind of magic enhance. I'm sorry, I just don't have the exact wording for it, but that's what I think.
For me, I have it in my head that okay, when we get Parker's abilities are magical based. They're coming from the cape, right? The hood. But John, if he does have abilities, I feel like those are mutant abilities. That's an enhancement because he was way too accurate with that knife throwing. He was taking him out in episode 3 when he was just coming.
Well,
It,
Bullseye. I mean, I think he's a regular human being, and he could just throw stuff just just like regular. So
oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
Bullseye. There
Mhm.
is Bullseye.
There's
Um,
Bullseye. So I think he's similar to Bullseye's in that way. Once again, don't have enough to know, but it just sounds like, and I must have missed this part because when you were talking about him throwing the knives, I said, "Damn, that was pretty cool."
yeah,
But to see how accurate he is with that, it might have been many years of training. I think like he's in almost in that same category as I mean, I'm not saying these guys are just as accurate, but I think of like Arrow and Hawkeye and how
uh-huh.
these are regular dudes, but like they're able to do these things, which seems like very unnatural, but it's natural because they're human beings. They're not
Yeah.
nothing else but human beings. So
Okay,
that's what I think.
all right, just a thought. And when it came to cousin John, again, cousin John, far left. Were you at all shocked at the turn? Because he was the one who actually kind of recruited Riri, and we see by episode 3, he's the one who attempted to, unalive her. Were you at all surprised by that
Yeah, I
turn?
love it. No, because I feel like in episode 2, bear with me, because there might have been 3. I mean, all these episodes together.
Uh-huh.
Um, But there was an episode where he kind of got in her face, where she was sticking up for I don't think it was Slug, I think it was a Clown.
Clown.
Which by the way, these names I couldn't be a part of a group, and someone said, "Hey, Clown,"
Yeah.
I'm not sticking around.
And no, and
Uh,
then they had the nerve to talk about Rampage's name as if their name isn't like Slug and Clown and everything else. Like it's really
yeah, it's just
Ramp-
like not. These are not even like cool names.
yeah,
Like
none of them
I,
are
I've I've heard names in groups, and they're like, "Hey, this is my name," and it's like, "Oh, that's kind of BA. That's cool." But
mhm.
these sound insulting. Are you
Yeah,
testing? Are
ridiculous.
you testing me? But yeah, no, there was like one episode where he kind of got in her face, and Parker had to break it up. So I'm not surprised at the turn very much.
Okay, all right. I wasn't surprised at the turn, um, but I was a little disappointed. I was like, dang, I thought we were going to get more of this character.
Oh, you
But
wanted more? Would you have wanted more?
yeah, I thought there was. I still feel like there could be more story there because do know that he's cousins, or at least some. I don't know if it's street cousins or real blood cousins. I don't know. It made it seem like. But
Are
yeah,
they actually family? I get you.
yeah, I don't know if they're actually family or not, but they call each other cousins,
Mhm.
him and Parker. So I would have liked to see like some more, like, dive more into that. And, his how much does he actually know about Parker's abilities? He seems like he's against it in some way, but he's very protective. So I wish we could have got more with that.
You-
Um, but
mhm.
that leads me to the question, because again, full spoilers, John ends up dying at the end of the episode. And I say that with quotation marks because do you feel he's really dead? Or do you think he would come back in some way?
I mean, I think he's pretty dead.
Okay.
He was in one of them greenhouses, and that carbon peroxide went off or whatever, and he choked out. I think he's really dead. I actually wanted to ask you this though, because when you were talking about like there's more story here, do you feel like that's something Marvel does a lot, where there's a character and like they take the person out, and they're like, man, you left a lot on the table because there could have been more story to be told here. Because this is
Yeah, look
Marvel's
at
first
Gamora.
time.
Look at Gamora from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like it's they definitely look at Vision. He died in goddamn what, Endgame? And he's back again. It's like they
Yeah,
are
Infinity
doing this.
War.
Yeah, they bring people back when it's convenient. So I feel as if the
Hmm.
cousin John may come back in some capacity. I don't know if he's going to be the same John. I don't know if he's going to be some sort of demonic spirit. Um,
Well, you know what's going to happen. He's going to run into Parker, and Parker's going to say, John. He's going to say, who the hell is John? And then they're going to
yes, he's going to say yes, cousin.
have her. No,
See?
I think they did take him out, and I think one of the reasons why they took him out is because in the end of, and I know we're hopping around all these episodes, so bear with us, everybody. But in episode 3, you could see how that affected um Parker. So I do think that that's going to definitely, it definitely happening is going to play into Parker going into this world of madness.
Uh,
And were they real cousins? I feel like we're going to get some kind of, I feel like maybe we should get it anyway. Maybe that's a better way of wording it. But I almost feel like we might get some kind of flashback, and they kind of explain their relationship. Because I would actually like to know that more too. Like, I think there's something interesting, and I think you could still do that. What are these episodes like? Like a what? Like 50 minutes or something like that. I'm sorry, I had to think of a number here, but it was like 50 minutes. I think you could give us like at least 10, 15 minutes to explain their relationship and
okay.
continue. And so, yeah, I think that would actually be pretty cool.
Yeah, some
Um,
backstory with Parker. And
yeah,
speaking of bringing characters back from the dead, we got our girl Natalie here.
Adelaide, that's right.
Now, Natalie is explained to be one of Riri's, childhood friends.
Hmm?
She unfortunately passed away during a drive-by shooting, which also unalived her stepdad. And
Gary.
she's brought back as an AI essentially for Riri's suit. Now, at first, I was thinking, is Riri like hallucinating this look like until other people started, seeing that. I was thinking this is some sort of like mental,
Right,
break.
like, yeah.
Yeah, but it seems that it's 1000% an AI. This
Mhm.
this Natalie, and it's based off of her Riri's own like brain scans. Um, Now, what I thought was interesting is that when Riri's mom finds out about Natalie, her first thought was, "Oh well, could you do the same for
Gary.
yeah, Gary," which is again
Mhm.
her stepfather, the mother's husband. Now, thoughts on that? Because for me, I thought it was great to see how they shown a stepdad in such a positive light,
Mm, that
in
is cool.
in media.
That's
Though I
cool.
do feel like there's still some work that needs to be done in regards to stepmoms. I feel like there's still the evil stepmother trope, um, for whatever reason. But the stepdads, okay, we love to see it. They're getting
The flowers.
their flowers. Um,
And I think eventually we will get that. Because I mean, I guess if we could just put out to Hollywood, it's not the 1930s anymore. It's not
yeah,
like Cinderella where that woman didn't that woman lock her in a room. I said, I'm pretty
yeah,
sure you can't do that. And
uh-huh.
pretty sure you couldn't even do that back then. I
Right,
don't
it's
know. I don't,
2025. Let's get some positive PR for the stepmoms and the stepdads. Let's make it universal here. But
don't worry. Tyler Perry probably do it.
no, no, he won't.
Oh, okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm
Ah,
so sorry.
no, he will not. But what did you think about this AI Natalie here? Thoughts on her?
Oh man, Natalie seemed like a really cool character. Um, she seemed pretty cool. It's pretty cool that the AI still has what Natalie, I mean, before her passing, and she still have that same energy and stuff. I think stuff like that cool. Matter of fact, one of the things I got out of this was I was like, oh, this is Riri's Jervis, and
Yeah,
I
Jarvis.
mean, Jarvis. Thank you. And I mean, what better person to be your Jarvis than your best friend? The stuff about Gary, I don't know if the mother knows this.
Uh-huh.
But Riri's not God. She doesn't just bring people back from the passing.
Uh-huh.
I guess the way this brain was scanned, and like I'm assuming that they were scanning her brain, that was on her mind.
Hmm.
Her, because you could. There's a few times where I played it back of the tragedy and everything, and I guess that's what she thought about, and that's how that came about. So, and the mother seemed like she understood. I mean, once again, I only watched this episode once, but she never seemed like she was upset. I don't think we have to expect her to be a villain in season 2. I think she just got it and was like, "Oh, okay, well, that sucks because I miss my significant other, but I understand." And the mother was really cool too on understanding about the, because a lot of people would freak out
Yeah,
seeing the passing of your friend, and she's AI, and I mean, I know I would be creeped the hell out.
yeah.
So
And
go ahead, please.
also, I feel it's odd that Riri brought back the friend in whatever capacity, right, as an AI.
Hmm? Mhm.
but hasn't, at least up until this point, informed the family, right?
Yeah.
Because we see that she interacts quite regularly with Natalie's brother, right? I think Xavier.
Okay.
So why not bring it up to Xavier, someone who clearly misses his sister? He made a whole mixtape with her voice attached to the music. You know,
Hmm.
he holds dear her the headset,
Memory. Yeah.
yeah, the memories and the headset that, she used to regularly use from him, was, even though it's scuffed up and all of that. So you would think, given that her relationship with Xavier seems to be so close, that she would at the very least mention, like, "Hey, I brought back Natalie as an AI, or at least I'm using her images in her memories, or my memories of her
Hmm.
as my AI. Would you want to, talk to her in any way, like give us some kind of, closure or something?" I feel like there's weird that she never brought that up to Natalie's family.
So and I think that's a fair point on what you're saying. I think for one, it's plot, and the other thing being, um, I'm just trying to think about like with the character, right? Maybe for her because she's still trying to deal with, hey, I brought back my friend, even though it's an AI.
Yeah.
And if I'm dealing like this, how will the family be? Now, I don't know how long it's been since the passing, right? Let's say it's been a few years. Um, I think any of us we would love to have our loved one come back,
Yeah.
but you would be taken back by one. They've been gone for this amount of time. You're sitting in the room, and then they come in the room, and you just you kind of freeze, and you don't you know what I mean? Like I think it's just she's still trying to deal with it, and she's thinking about, well, if I'm having a difficult time understanding this and stuff, because she's still one of the things you were talking about that. I thought there was a few times where, and once again, I understand this plot, but I was like, yo, bro, like you kind of mean to your friend, bro. Like I know that's your AI and everything like that, but clearly that's your homegirl. Like she's saying things that only you would understand, and she understands you. Like that's clearly your friend, and you're pushing her off. So I think there's a lot of things like that where she's having this internal struggle,
Okay.
and and I think that's the best way I can sum it up. She's having an internal struggle, and she don't know how to uh, transfer that to the family.
See, I didn't take it as her being mean to her friend. I took it as her trying to enforce some boundaries, because at the end of the day, this isn't your friend. This is an AI. This is something that is
Okay.
computer generated. Regardless if it talks like your friend and presents as your friend, your
Mhm.
friend is dead, right? This isn't her. So
Jeez.
I feel like it was her just trying to maintain that boundary and that layer of protection for herself. Because, like, hold on, hold on, hold on. You're not going to replace my friend. You're not her.
Mhm.
You're my memory of her, right?
Mhm.
And incarnate. So I didn't see it as her being mean. And in fact, I feel like she's being a little too friendly with with the AI, especially given that the AI freezing up in moments. We saw in a couple scenes that it just freezes up.
I did think it was interesting in episode 2 where they're doing the heist and everything like that, and they have the thing with the gun,
Yeah,
and she freezes, and it's like, well, that would go right through you, correct? But I can't explain any of that stuff. I don't know how. I'm still trying to understand AI.
it's just I'm
Mhm.
interpreting it as it's her memories of the friend. So her memory, last memory is of the friend was her freezing
Mhm.
at,
Right.
with
Right. Okay. Hmm.
and it could also be a little bit of Riri's own anxiety around guns still, given, what happened,
Not
which is
one.
very, it's understandable. Um,
Absolutely.
but yeah, very interesting. But another reveal we got in this three sets of episodes,
We'll keep saying that. We'll
yeah,
keep saying that, Disney, because that was really ridiculous. But carry on.
was
Oh,
our guy
that's
here, Joe, right? And it's revealed that he is the son of Jebediah.
Jebediah.
Yeah, so his name is Ezekiel. Again, he's the son of Jebediah Sloan. Am I saying that right? Or
It's a stain. I think it's a
Stain?
Jebediah stain, right?
Jebediah Stain.
I couldn't tell them. I couldn't tell they were related because he has a head full of hair.
Yeah. But another thing, I was like, hold on, I've seen this man here before. I had to the go back in the memory
Is
banks.
that Dexter?
No, he
Oh,
played
okay.
John Solo in the
Oh my
Star
God.
Wars movie.
Oh
Like,
my. Oh my God. See, come on.
yeah, he played when they went back and made that one film that apparently didn't do so well. He played Han Solo, excuse me, not John Solo, Han Solo. Um in that movie. So they recycled this actor, nothing wrong with that. I don't know if he's somebody's
No.
son or nephew or whatever the case may be, but
Mhm.
he's got it in with Disney and they brought him back.
Hey, listen, I mean, real quick, I don't want to go jump off too far off the deep end, but I was talking to some coworkers and we were talking about how Robert Downey Jr. is just really hogging up all the slots and whatnot. But I kid you not, if I could get some kind of deal and I could do a few episodes with Disney, a Marvel project, sign me the hell up.
Oh,
Oh, you killed me and I could come back.
uh-huh,
I'll do it.
for
And
life.
shout out to some of these actors because Star Wars is still part of that Disney family. So if you're making Star Wars money and Marvel money, like
Hmm.
our guy who's playing Mr. Fantastic, I forget what Star Wars movie he was doing, but Pedro, you know what I'm talking about.
Now he plays the
Mhm.
Mandalorian and
Good for
Fantastic.
him. And look at that. I mean, that man. I don't think he'll ever be hungry again.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. But we do see that again. Not only is he um, Jebediah's son,
It's a
he
hell of a
also
picture he's taking.
has interest in tech to some capacity. Like he's some sort of like tech police. He's making sure people are being ethical with the tech or for whatever reason. But he also has some weird connections with the dark web, black market, military stuff. It's like, what are you really doing, guy? I feel like he's a little suspicious, especially when we see that
Oh wow.
he cut open his skin to
Oh.
implant some tech there, like just and I think he called it as like some sort of flesh tech or whatever the case may be. I'm like, this is gross, guy. This is questionable behavior. This is
Mhm.
not normal, right? Of someone who has
It's
normal brain
not.
functions.
I don't know too many people who just cut their wrists open like that.
Yeah, it's weird. And I'm like, this guy is a villain. There's no way. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Because what kind of psycho is cutting up himself in the kitchen to, to add in some like tech? It's weird. So
Hold on, wait, hold on, wait a minute. See, why did you stare at me?
I'm just saying it's weird, right?
It is very weird. I'm not gonna hold you. Matter of fact, also too, can I just say how unrealistic this is? Because a lot of times when people do that, they are offed. So for him to still just be sitting there with an
Yeah, just
open,
chilling. And I'm
I
like,
was like, what are we doing?
and she's too normal about it too. She was like, all right, well, let me stitch you up. Like, no, let me call the therapist because clearly,
Well, well, to be fair, see the superior, you gotta remember Riri grew up in Chicago, so to her, this is a Tuesday.
but still, that's
Mhm.
that's what other people harming you, but not you self harming in the kitchen. It's like it's time to call the professionals at this point.
Absolutely, like Oprah. You're right.
But I have a feeling something about him is suspicious. I don't like him.
Really, I don't get that from him. I think he really don't want to be his dad. I don't know what the whole thing about him cutting his. I look at episode 2, right? First off, he listened to Elena Moore. I want to say her name is.
Atlantis Morissette, yeah.
I mean, come on, how are you a villain if you listen to that? And also the other thing I want to say, Riri was the one who told him in that episode, like, "Yo, you need to stand up for yourself." And he stood up to the. I know it wasn't nothing a major scene, but standing up, I don't think so. I
The
don't think he wants to
biggest
be like his
mistake.
dad. Hmm?
She should have never told that man to stand up for himself because now he's taking it too far. Now he's trying to blackmail her. That's what I'm
Hmm?
saying. This is the beginning of his villain origin story. Like he's just going to get worse and worse.
I'll give you that. It could be the beginning, but right now I don't think he's trying to do anything because he even helped her when he gave her that tech that's supposed to
Yeah, the
not.
flesh tech or whatever. The flesh tech that she lost, might
Mhm.
add, by the end of the episode of
Yeah,
episode 3. So,
yeah.
and there was an earlier little line that he mentioned that, oh yeah, this is I've modified this so much that it could be traced back to me. So he's definitely going under for in these next couple. Maybe that's why
That-
he potentially turns bad in my theory because he feels like maybe she ratted him out or some shit because she left the flesh tech there.
there we go. See the superior.
See, I don't know. I'm
Oh
suspicious.
no, I was just talking about the S bomb that you dropped.
Oh, my bad. But yeah, that those were pretty much the 3 episodes. I don't know where they're going to take it because by the end of the 3rd episode, we have a couple of things. We have the death of cousin John. We have Parker going further into like his demented,
Madness,
demonic kind of say state or whatever the case may be with that.
right?
We have what's it call it Ezekiel, who knows what's going to happen with him. So I'm interested to watch the next 3
And
episodes.
if we could just throw out one more part here, is also too Riri got a sample of the cape, so like that's going to be interesting. It may
Yeah.
explain all of that because it's going to be, and that will give us answers about uh the properties of this cape.
Yes,
Does it honestly? If I can just sit here and say real quick, one seat is superior. If I can pull the curtain back a little bit. Once upon a time, we had some really lovely friends draw us as superheroes, and I said I want a cape. Now I want a cloak.
see, well, too late for that.
No, 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 no.
Too
Well,
late.
I'll get that.
My
I'll leave
character
it.
had a cape.
No, you didn't.
I had a cape.
Then why'd you fight me on having a
Hold on,
cape?
wait a second. Let me go ahead and hold on. I still got mine. Let me go ahead and
Well,
pull
lucky you. You at least yours was sent. No one sent me anything. I'm not as popular as you. Look at your character.
cheap plug. Here's my character with
There
a
we go.
cape and a hat.
And a hat. Yeah, yeah. Like your hair can like your hat the hat can take all that hair. Okay, but it's a fantastic job picture. We want to shout
Shout
out
out
our
to the
friends who did
Dice
it.
Boys. Shout out to the Dice Boys, by the way.
They're
Um,
fantastic.
but yeah, but that was the episode, the first three episodes of Ironheart. Please drop us a comment, let us know what you thought of the first three episodes, and join us next week, same time, same place, same
Dis-
day.
Disney. And after this, calm the hell down.
Yeah, calm down.
If you can, I know y'all don't want stuff spoiled for people, but I need y'all to think about the content creators. I
Yes,
mean, like Cedar Superior said, 9 o'clock, and then like I do a wrestling show, so I'm staying up after 11. And I
yeah,
looked at my thing, and it says one something in the morning. I said, "Oh, I probably should go to sleep."
yeah,
Calm down, Disney. But Ironheart, it's a fun watch. I do like the world that they're creating, and I can't wait to see how they implement her with the other rest of the Marvel universe, cinematic universe. I mean, so that's gonna
right.
be cool.
So
Yeah.
join us
So
again next Wednesday around this time, and also join us next Sunday or this Sunday, excuse me, for Geek News, where we break down the geek news of the week. But that's our episode. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye.